Right guys, welcome back to the channel, and today there has been a bar brawl between the Blood Angels and the Dark Angels. A few too many drinks, and there's been accusations of heresy thrown back and forth, and it's resulted in a 2,000 point brawl to the death. So we are fighting over crates of beer. The mission is the spoils of war. We have objective 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6 over there. Stephen has won to deploy first, and as you can see, he is doing his scout moves at the moment. He's deployed back in the far corners. So I've planted my Land Raider in the middle, out of melter range. So let's have a quick look over the armies once Stephen has done those scout moves. Alright, so after deployment, Stephen hasn't scouted these guys forward at all. I think he's a little bit scared of Dante's fury. Meanwhile, over this side, all of these guys have pushed forward indeed. So the army's down here. We've got command squad with a librarian in. He's getting Ignore's cover and Scryer's gaze. They've got plasma talons. That's not nice at all with my sanguinary guard in front. We've got a unit of 3 land speeders with multi-melters and heavy bolters. We've got the Dark Shroud there at the back, and they're staring down at Dante and the sanguinary guard. Meanwhile, over this side, the scout moves. We've got a unit of 3 Raven Wing there with 2 grav. We've got an attack bike with multi-melter, squadron of 3 land speeders and multi-melter heavy bolter, and we've got a Black Knight squadron here as well as another Dark Shroud. Alright, reserves for Stephen. We've got Deathwing Strike Force. We've got 3 units of Terminators. We've got 2 with assault cannons and 1 with a Cyclone missile launcher in there. We've got the Librarian, who's the Warlord. He can run an extra 3 inches. Stephen deployed first. My counter deployment is the Sanguinary Guard Death Star that Josh tried against me before down here, looking to hopefully take out the command squad in the distance there. I've got the Baal Predator hugging some cover. Hopefully we can get some use out of that Flamestorm cannon. In the centre there's not much at all looking across the battlefield, but right in the middle, and the reason I put it in the middle was to avoid all the melters, the Land Raider Redeemer with 2 Flamestorm cannons. There's no upgrades on that, just the assault cannon and the Flamestorm. In there we've got Mephiston and a Terminator squad. Mephiston's powers was Blood Boil and Fear the Darkness, so not great, but Quickening and Sanguine Sword is what I'm going to be looking for, as well as Force. He's in there with 5 Terminators, 3 have Thunderhammer and Storm Shields, 2 with Lightning Claws. And that was pretty much it. Stephen's done his scout moves forward up to here, but in reserves I've got a Furioso Dreadnought with Frag Cannon and a Heavy Flamer in a drop pod. I've got a 10-man tactical squad with a Heavy Flamer and Melter Gun in a drop pod. They'll be combat squadron. I've also got a 5-man tactical squad with Heavy Flamer, and then I've got 2 5-man assault squads with 2 Melter Guns in each. Right, so cards for Stephen on turn 1. He's drew Assassinate, Witch Hunter, so he's going to have to kill Mephiston, Harness the Warp, considering he's got Librarian. That's going to be pretty easy to do. Let's have a look at what he's done. Right, so the land speeders down here have managed to move forward, and they are within melter range of the Land Raider. However, it's a side arc. 25% is obscured, so I'm at least getting a cover save there. But the Dark Shroud, the Black Knight, and the Raven Wing squad just pushed forward on this side. That is it for movement. Let's go on to Psychic and Shooting. In a swift turn of events in the Psychic phase, Stephen's gone for Scryer's Gaze, which he got off, granting him Harness the Warp, and he's drew Secure Objective 1. He's got a Witch Hunter to get Objective 1 because he thought Mephiston's probably a bit of a long shot, and now he's going to have to come after Objective 1 or give me a free point, which means he's going to be within charge range of Dante. Couldn't have planned it any better if we tried. So let's move on to the shooting phase and see if these guys are turbo boosting and see if I still have a Land Raider. Right, so Stephen's elected the turbo boost. We're only 1mm forward. He's going to give me that free point. He's baiting us in. He wants them plasma talons to be able to go through Dante, I reckon, or potentially charge. Who knows? I might have to put a drop pod there. But these guys with Interceptor might make mincemeat out of them. We'll have to see. It is a 3 point, so we'll have to see what cards I draw. So down this side, the Land Speeders here only got a single hit despite strafing run on the Land Raider and got a pen. However, managed to pass the cover save on the side armour there. Meanwhile, this one could just about see and is just within 12 inches. Managed to get a pen and tore off the Flamestorm cannon on the other side of the Land Raider as well. Meanwhile, the only other thing that's happened is the rest of the Raven Wing forces have just turbo boosted into a better position, and that is the end of Stephen's turn. So let's add up his points. Right, so Stephen gets 1 point for Harness the Warp. He can't do anything with Objective 1, he has to leave it. Do you want to discard Assassinate, or do you want to keep hold of it? Blood Angels turn 1. I drew Swift Advance. Stephen has to nominate 2 objective markers. He's nominated Objective 5 and 2. 2 is up near the Raven Wing, so I think he's looking for some nice intercept. And 5 is right next to the other Land Speeders, again probably looking for some intercept there. I drew Harness the Warp. Mephiston is going to be getting out. And I drew Secure Objective 3, which the Baal Predator is on. Right, so we did have a bit of a plan. These guys are actually staying where they are, biding their time for the moment. The Baal Predator was pushed forward further into the ruins just to try and hide out a line of sight from the strike force at this side. He is going to score me Objective 3. The drop pod with the 10 tactical marines in dropped down here. 5 of them jumping out of this side. They're going to score me Objective 1 from Stephen. The other 5 with a heavy flamer jumped out on that side. I was hoping to get some shots in on the bikes and score Objective 2. Unfortunately, Stephen's just intercepted with the lovely multi-melter and heavy bolters from all the squadrons there. And yeah, those 2 marines have also been obliterated, so that scores Stephen first blood, and I'm not going to get Objective 2. So the plan was to hopefully get rid of the Land Speeders before the Furioso Dreadnought comes in. I don't fancy them multi-melter interceptors at all. So I try to drop the other tactical drop pod here. Unfortunately, I got a 10-inch scatter all the way back here, so those guys are hanging out in the ruins there. And then I try to drop one of the assault squads literally right here, and again a 10-inch scatter all the way back, so they've moved forward. Probably look to maybe possibly take out one of the bikers there, who knows. But for the rest of the movement, the Land Raiders pushed forward, Mephiston and the Terminators have jumped out, and I didn't realise, but this whole formation, the Land Speeders and the Dark Shroud, count as a single unit, so I am going to be charging, hopefully taking out the entire squadron with the Terminators. We've got a few shots to come in from the Land Raider as well. So that's it for the movement. It's already proven to be brutal and a tough match indeed. Who's the heretic? Well, I say it's the Dark Angels. Let's move on to the Psychic phase. So in the Psychic phase, Mephiston got Sanguine Sword off, and he got Quickening as well, but Stephen managed to stop it. So Mephiston is swinging at strength 10. It does score me a point for Harness the Warp, but due to that being stopped, I couldn't get 3 off. I was going for Force as well, just because. So yeah, 2 Land Speeders have gone down. Got 3 hits with the Flamestorm cannon and 3 hits with the assault cannon. Stephen elected not to jink as he wanted to overwatch. The rule was a little bit ambiguous for Raven's Shield, but we agreed that the Land Speeders themselves do count as friendly units, therefore can fire the overwatch. But the assault cannon, due to Stephen electing not to jink, managed to actually go through the 2 Land Speeders. So brilliant stuff there. The Terminators meanwhile will be charging around the corner looking to take out the Dark Shroud and the remaining Land Speeder. The only other thing that happened was these guys down here shot into the Raven Wing bike squadron, but no damage was done. So as expected in the assault phase, Mephiston and the Terminators charged in and have wrecked the entire squadron. I actually whiffed quite a bit with Mephiston. I only actually got 2 out of 6 hits. So yeah, that wasn't great at all. So they can't consolidate, unfortunately. It looks as though the Plasma Talons from the Knights are going to be coming in next, so I may end up taking a little bit of damage, but we'll have to see. So the Land Raider is within 3 inches of Objective 5, so that will score me Swift Advance. I did get Harness the Warp for getting off Sanguine Sword, and the Baal Predator over here scores me Objective 3, so that puts me at 3 points to Stephen's 2. Actually, I steal Objective 1 from Stephen over here, so that puts me at 4 points to his 2. So the fight for the beer is raging on. Who's going to get the drunkest the fastest? Let's find out in Dark Angels turn 2. as drew secure objective 2, secure objective 3, and 4. 4 my tactical marines hold, 3 is held by the Battle Predator, and 2 is out in the open. Right, so movement phase, all the Deathwing have arrived. These Ravenwing here pull back with the Plasma Talons, looking to rapid fire into the Terminators. I'm expecting to lose 1 or 2 there. The Librarian and another unit of Terminators have turned up. I'm guessing Boxy wants rid of this little retinue of Blood Angels. Mephiston has a bit of a reputation, and he's destroyed the formation on this flank. Bikers here have pushed forward, looking to start eating into the tactical marines, just as another Deathwing squad has landed, looking to take them out. Down here the land speeders have pushed forward to secure objective 2. The command squad can just about see the tactical marines through that window there, so they're going to be doing some damage, I think, coming in that way. So let's move on to the psychic phase. Right, so in the psychic phase, the Librarian here tried to cast Mind Wipe on Mephiston, and with 10 dice, Boxy had a disgusting roll, only actually rolled 2 4+. Mephiston was denying on hope due to being a higher psychic level than the Librarian. Thankfully I didn't need to do it. And as you can see, the Terminator squad has been whittled down. They've took fire from the Plasma Talons, they've took fire from both these Terminator squads as well. They have passed the leadership test, so they are not pinned or anything. They're not running away. So, do we dare charge Terminators? With so few Hamminators left, and Mephiston only being AP3, I don't think I want to do it. Meanwhile, in the centre of the board, Boxy was insistent on grabbing this crate of beer. So the Ravenwing with a grab, the multi-melter pumped into the tactical marines that were hiding in the ruins, bringing 3 of them down. Terminators there simply pumping Stormbolter shots in, and the power arm of the marines simply couldn't hold up. Right, so the last thing that we're doing for the entire turn, Stephen's already said he's not going to be doing any assaults. The Terminators do get to run on the turn that they arrive, so these guys have pushed forward an inch. Both Terminator squads over this side have chose to spread out, probably avoiding that Flamestorm cannon. Down here, the Librarian used his Auspex and the Plasma Talons coming in from them, and the multi-melters from the land speeders coming straight through the windows there. Despite the marines going to ground and taking cover, simply couldn't weather the firepower, so Boxy has managed to kill the tactical squad here as well. He is going to score objective 2, score objective 4 for here. Objective 3, however, is still going to be mine. So Stephen scores objective 2, he doesn't score 3, and he scores 4. That puts a score at 4-4, and he can't discard objective 3, so that's going to be a point for me in my next turn. Right, so I've drawn no prisoners, blood and guts, and psychological warfare. Psychological warfare is going to be the hardest, but I can also steal objective 3 from Stephen. Furioso Dreadnought isn't in, but the Melter Pod is. Things aren't going quite so well for us. I've moved Dante forward. He's out of charge range and firing range of the bikers at this side, as well as the Terminators there, but if I leave him back, he's not going to do anything. Stephen's not going to come near him, so I'm going to have to push him forward, and I'm going to have to take wounds to be able to get where I need to be. The Melter Pod has landed. It's going to secure objective 3 for me, and the Melter Guns will hopefully do some damage to the Terminators down there. As you can see, the Battle Predator has come forward. He's looking to drop his Flamestorm cannon on the bikers there. The Land Raider's pushed forward. Probably going to lose it next turn anyway due to the chain fist in that Terminator squad, but I want to do as much damage as I can and get ahead on points before I start losing stuff. So the Flamestorm cannon is going to get 4 tasty hits on them, and then the assault cannon will power the machine spirit into the Terminators down there. While down here, the Hamminator and Mephiston is going to go into the bikers here. Hopefully we can take them out, depending on how the rest of the phase goes. I don't know whether to shoot the melter guns from these guys at the Terminators or potentially charge them in to the bikes to assist Mephiston. We'll have to see how the psychic phase goes. So Dante and the Sanguinary Guard have ran forward. I want to make sure that they aren't getting away in their turn unless they turbo boost. So yeah, it should go okay. Down here, the Battle Predator ended up going after the Terminators. All the melters here, the bow pistols unfortunately didn't do a thing to the Terminators, and neither did the Battle Predator. Luckily, down here, the biker squadron is gone thanks to Flamestorm. Yeah! The assault cannon in the end took one of them out. I reckon, however, I'm probably going to lose the Land Raider to the Terminators down here. Meanwhile, over this side, I elected to try and pump the melter guns into the Black Knights at this side. I want to make sure I try and kill them in the assault phase. I know I maybe's never moved them in the direction to charge, but I thought if Mephiston had killed one with his plasma pistol, I could have maybe's done it alone, but I don't think I can. So the assault marines are going to be helping Mephiston out with the charge in the hopes of scoring me blood and guts for these guys here. In the sighted phase I did get quickening off, and we are at +2 initiative and attacks, which is useful indeed. So that's it for shooting. Let's move on to the assaults. Wow, so finally Mephiston gets transfixing gears off on the sergeant that was in that Blackwing Knight squad, hitting him on 2s with 8 attacks. Managed to actually get 6 wounds through on the entire squad altogether, so we managed to run them down. The Terminator and the Assault Marines not even getting to swing. So the Assault Marines have consolidated back. Mephiston, unfortunately, can't really get away from Stephen's Deathwing Terminators down this side. So let's have a look at the points. Right, so I only managed to kill 2 units. So I do score no prisoners for 1 point, and I managed to kill something in the assault phase, so that also scores me another point. I also steal objective 3 from Boxy, so that puts me at 7 points to his 4. I'm going to discard Psychological Warfare. Unfortunately, Transfixing Gears doesn't score me that because it's not a leadership check or anything, so I will be discarding that now. Dark Angels turn 3, Stephen has drew secure objective 2, which the land speeders are going to grab. Secure 1, which Dante is on. Secure 5, which my Land Raider moved away from. As expected, I'm glad I moved Dante forward now. The bikers at this side are going to hopefully try and push him off of objective 1 so that they can score that. Meanwhile, the land speeders, 2 of them intercepted last turn, but 2 of them didn't. And they're going to look to hopefully support and take out some of the Sanguinary Guard there, but they are going to score objective 2 down here. In the centre of the board, the Terminators are pushing forward, looking to eat the Baal Predator. I knew it was a gamble, I was going to lose it, but I had to get rid of that bike squadron with the grab in the middle of the table. While down this side, objective 5 is just down there. I don't know whether Boxy is going to charge the Land Raider and potentially not be able to consolidate back, or whether or not he's just going to stay there and hopefully rend with the assault cannon. We'll have to see. Down here though, these guys have pushed forward. The Librarian tried to cast Mindworm on Mephiston's squad. Unfortunately, we didn't stop it. He did peril and took a wound, and the Terminator failed his invuln against Mindworm. So Mephiston is left standing alone. Right, so the Terminator squad with the Librarian in targeted Mephiston, and no damage was done. Mephiston is laughing sin. It's his beer. These guys are the heretics, not us. The assault cannon back there split fire into Mephiston, didn't cause any wounds. The storm bolters, meanwhile, although they can't hurt it, have shot at the Land Raider so that Stephen can charge. Meanwhile, the assault cannon Terminator down here. The assault cannon managed to get a pen on the Baal Predator, blowing off the heavy bolter on that side. These guys are in the middle of the brawl. They don't realise the fight that is going on each of their flanks. Meanwhile, down here, the melter gun, despite Boxy hitting on 2s, missed the Sanguinary Guard, and the heavy bolters failed to do any damage. Down here, he used the grenade launcher to minus me weapon skill and initiative by 1, so I'm still at weapon skill 4 thanks to the priest, so I'll still be hitting on 4s instead of 3s. It's not great, but it means that he's not hitting me on 3s either. The plasmas managed to do 5 wounds to Dante, and I decided to tank them all on him, and he passed every single one of his invulns, didn't even need to feel no pain, so he's standing up to be the tank that he is. Must be something in this crate of beer here that's special about it. There must be going to be fight over it. Down here, Boxy elected not to charge. He really wants the overwatch against Dante. instead of losing them in the charge. I think that's going to be brutal if these are going to be support firing as well. As expected down here, the Terminator's made mincemeat of the Baal Predator with that chain fist and all the power fists. But over this side, the Librarian and the Champion charged in. Mephiston challenged and the Champion accepted. Unfortunately, Mephiston got 2 hits out of 7 attacks. Foxy passed both of his saves, and that horrible initiative axe that Champion and the Librarian have just cut Mephiston in half. So yeah, he's gone, he's been slain, he will rise again, he will fight again for the beer. So he scores objective 2, he doesn't score objective 1 as it is contested, and he scores objective 5, putting him at 6 points to my 7. Right, so Blood Angel turn 3, and we've drew secure objective 3 and secure objective 1 twice. So Dante needs to make mincemeat of that squad, because Stephen still has secure objective 1, which will guarantee me 3 points, and the drop pod is on objective 3, guaranteeing me 4. However, Brother Astromil is still delayed. It's in the movement phase. The assault marines have jumped up there so they can prevent, hopefully, from being charged. I'm not going to charge them in. I thought about it, but if I don't charge, then there's still a threat, and Stephen's going to have to focus a unit on them at least. So that is why they're staying there. Hopefully, kill 1 or 2 with the melters. Hopefully. Here we're looking, hopefully, with the Flamestorm cannon and the assault cannon and the melter guns here in the assault marine squad. Hopefully, we can take out some of the Terminators here. Again, I'm going to pull the same tactic. I'm not going to charge. So it's a case of, does Stephen go for the Land Raider, or does he go for the Marines with the melter guns? That's what the plan is, while Dante is determined to get objective 1. I've moved them in such a way that the formation over there, only the Dark Shroud has line of fire through some of the ruins at one of the Sanguinary Guard. So hopefully we can survive the Overwatch, make it in, and kill them. Right, so down here in the shooting phase, the melter gun managed to kill 1 of the Terminators at the front, and a stray fire from the Stormbolter and the drop pod managed to actually kill the Champion. So that was great. They don't need a leadership check as they are fearless. Down here we managed to inflict quite a lot of damage on this Terminator squad, as you can see. The Flamestorm cannon and the assault cannon from the Land Raider doing a couple of wounds. The melter guns and bow pistol and even fire from the Stormbolters on the drop pods taking a few more out. Again though, they are fearless. At least the chain fist and the assault cannon's not there, which means Foxy's going to have to make a decision. Land Raider with a single power fist, or entire squad with a power sword. Who knows? Down here, fire coming in from the entire unit, no damage at all was done. Rerollable Jink, we feel no pain, it's horrible. So we're going to be charging, Foxy's going to Overwatch. Wow, what a combat phase. Dante alone managed to kill the Librarian with both wounds, and the Champion indeed. He did challenge the Champion, and despite being -1 weapon skill with the rest of the Sanguinary Guard, only hitting on 4s instead of 5s, we managed to actually cut the Apothecary and the other Black Knight down. The Black Knight did get a rend through with his Corvus Hammer, and the Sanguinary Priest failed his feel no pain. We've consolidated back. We want them land speeders. Right, so looking at the cards, I'm getting incredibly lucky indeed, especially having Dante near objective 1 and Stephen getting objective 1 last turn and me getting it twice. Absolute game-changing moments there. Secure objective 3 I get with the drop pod. That scores me another 4 points, putting me at 11 to Stephen's 6. Unbelievable turn indeed.
Alright, so Dark Angels turn 4, I got these cards. Objective marker 6, which is over here under that drop pod. Another unlucky one. Hold the line and not 1 step backwards. When this tactical objective is generated, I choose either my next 2 turns or my next 3 turns. If this tactical objective is still in play, I score these respective points. Unsure which turn I'm going to pick right now, but hopefully I can get it in play. I think I'm going to choose my next 2 turns, so see how that goes.
Terminators have pulled sideways. It doesn't look as though Stephen's going for hold the line. It's going to be difficult for him to get, I think. And they're going to be levelling the storm bolters and the assault cannon at the Marines, clambering up the containers. Whilst the Librarian and the rest of the Terminators here are going to look to destroy this drop pod, get me off Objective 6, making sure that Stephen scores the point for that. Right, so it looks as though the Terminators are going to be making mincemeat of the Assault Marines there, and the Land Speeders are hopefully going to be popping that Land Raider indeed. Looks as though there's been a swift turn of events for the Dark Angels. They're feeling potentially a little bit drunker. Maybe they're sobering up, because the Land Raider here took a penetrating hit and it's stunned from the melter guns that were just within range there. So are the heretics sober, or are they just getting better the more they drink? Who knows? The Terminators down here didn't do any wounds with the storm bolters, and in combat the sergeant cut two of the assault marines down with his power sword. The Marines swung back at the same initiative and killed the sergeant, and the power fist killed two more of them, and a lone melter guy has ran 11 inches. Hopefully he'll make mincemeat of him next turn though. Meanwhile, the Terminators down here with the assault cannon and all the storm bolter fire managed to kill two of the Marines that were holding up on the containers, and they've ran away as well. Fantastic. Meanwhile, single penetrating hit from the Cyclone missile launcher around here, and the power fists from the two Terminators with them have managed to destroy this drop pod. It didn't explode, so that is going to get Boxy behind enemy. Hold the line. The Librarian, the Terminator here within 12 of the deployment zone, and the Dark Shroud over here has it as well. So let's have a look at his score. Right, so Boxy does score Objective 6. It's right where the drop pod is that he destroyed, and he scores hold the line, scoring him 2 more points, putting him at a total of 8. He hasn't achieved the Dark Angel one though. I don't know where it is. Are you keeping it?
I am keeping it.
Yep, so he says he's going to get that next turn apparently. Let's see what happens in Blood Angels turn 4 when Brother Astromil is finally going to arrive. Behind enemy lines, aerial assault and decapitating strike. Behind enemy lines I'm going to get by charging the Sanguinary Guard and Dante at the Land Speeders and the Dark Shroud. Aerial assault will get me that as well, as they are jump infantry. Decapitating strike, it's going to be hard, but I think Brother Astromil might be able to do it. Right, down here the Assault Marines have rallied, looking straight at the Terminators with their melter guns. Brother Astromil got a direct hit. No wonder he was waiting for the right moment to strike. He's going to be unloading his heavy flamer and frag cannon straight at the Terminator squad. The Librarian is on 1 wound. He knows that he can potentially win this battle for the beer. Meanwhile, Dante is pushing forward. He is going for the Dark Shroud. The whole unit needs to be within 12 inches of the deployment zone. It's an 8-inch charge, and I've used my jump pack. I need to make that to score behind enemy lines, and I need to, yeah, they need to go. Yeah, that was the most uneventful turn ever. All the storm bolter fire or Angelus bolt gunfire into the Dark Shroud. Nothing was done. He lives due to the storm bolter fire and the melter gun failing to hit. This storm bolter shot into these, and again nothing. And both melter guns and Brother Astromil and the storm bolter failed to do anything. So, ironically, I don't score a single point. That's it. Yeah, so I think the beer must be wearing off. We definitely need to have a few more drinks, I think, and take in the wreckage that has been caused. Dante and the Sanguinary Guard are really far out of the way, and it looks as though these guys are going to be able to move away from them. Yeah, I think not moving them forward in turn 1 has probably cost me quite a lot. They're worth a lot of points, but yeah, there's not much left for the Blood Angels. There's not much left for the Deathwing either. Let's see what cards Boxy draws going to Dark Angels turn 5.
You'll have 5 seconds.
I should have stuck my guns and stuck it with my guns.
It's Box. He's still got. He's drawn objective 6. He's still got that hidden Dark Angel 1, and he's drew objective 4. Objective 4, the Land Raider is on. So if he can destroy the Land Raider, he can probably get it. 6, his Librarian's on. So down here to score objective 6, he is going to have to get rid of the Dreadnought and the Pod. But can the Terminators do it between them? We don't know. Down here, the support squadron is starting to move sideways. Are they going to go for the Land Raider? Are they going to help pump some shots into the Dreadnought? We don't know. But the lone Terminator with a Power Fist is making a beeline for objective 4. I think he's smelt some form of whiskey, and he wants to smash a Land Raider to steal it. Wow, what a huge turn of events for the Dark Angels. The Cyclone missile launcher and the Librarian there using Mind Worm in the sight phase on the rear arm of the Dreadnought. Managed to blow the Dreadnought up. So he's gone. Boxy doesn't secure objective 6 though, because the drop pod is still there. The Terminators over this side managed to kill the Sergeant. Meanwhile, the snap firing Land Speeder's got a single hit and a single glance on the Land Raider, bringing it down to 1 hull point. And this one guy here got 3 hits with his Power Fist, and Boxy has just rolled that. The 6 taking the last hull point from the Land Raider, going up in smoke, scoring him objective 4. Boxy scores objective 4, not 1 step backwards. He says he put on film that he nominated 2 turns, so he scores D3, but he doesn't score objective 6. Boxy D3 for not 1 step backwards. 1 point, gives him 2 more points, puts him at 10 to my 11. Right, so I've still got behind enemy lines, aerial assault and decapitating strike. Aerial assault I can pretty much guarantee as long as I can get into combat with them speeders, but it's only going to get me 1 point. Whereas if I move Dante's unit to behind the enemy lines, that's 3 units, the Priest, the Guard and Dante, that would score me D3, so it's a guaranteed D3. That's only a guaranteed, well, probable 1. It is turn 5, so I think I'm going to go for behind enemy lines and try and get the D3 to push me ahead on points. Decapitating strike, I need to kill that Librarian. So I'm hoping that the 2 melter guns here will be able to take out the Librarian. Unlikely. The Dreadnought had still been there. I reckon I could have potentially killed those Terminators. We'll have to see how this turn goes. Down here, Dante, the Priest and the Sanguinary Guard are within 12 inches. I really want to push them this way and go for the charge, but I want that D3 instead. So down here, the Melter Gun Marine clambering over the wreckage of the Baal Predator. Terminator's armour held out on a wound, but he fell to fire from the Stormbolter. The beer in the middle is free for anyone to pick up. Meanwhile, down here, the 2 Melter Gun Marines failed to even hit the Terminators, and I charged in hoping to cut one down. Unfortunately, didn't do any damage at all, so they've consolidated. If the game continues, Boxy's going to be smashing that drop pod and scoring objective 6. However, as it stands, Dante, the Priest and the Guard over there do get me behind enemy lines, so let's have a look at the score. Right, so as it stands, I'm currently at 11 points to Boxy's 10, but I've got behind enemy lines for the D3 because I've got 3 units there. For 3 points puts me at 14. And Boxy, do you want to roll a dice, see if the game continues? On a 3 up, it continues. Do you want to roll it here? 3 up, it continues. That's massively cocked. Continues. Uh-oh. Right, so Boxy has drew the Path of Redemption. He's revealed it because he says he's not going to be able to do it. He needs to basically charge a unit where he's outnumbered. He's drew Secure Objective 5, Secure Objective 6, so let's have a look at what he's doing. Right, so down here the Terminators are going to be shooting at and charging the drop pod, probably looking to destroy it. That will secure Stephen Objective 6. Meanwhile, across the other side of the battlefield, the Terminators have moved and they need the 1 inch run to be within 3 inches of this objective, and the other guy has ran an inch back to get line breaker. Right, so the land speeders and the dark shroud have pivoted and looking to shoot down the sanguinary guard at this side. Right, so Boxy did have a bit of a plan. He was looking to take out the sanguinary guard that were down here. 2 of them poking around the outside will cut down to the multi-melter fire. The priest not even able to patch them up. Meanwhile, the dark shroud pumped his heavy bolter into Dante. Dante, as the tank he is, took it all. There's wreckage across the entire Manufactorum now indeed. But down here, crack missile from the Cyclone missile launcher did a single hull point of damage on this drop pod, and the power fists bounced off the armour of the drop pod. So securing objective 6 for the Dark Angels unfortunately did not happen. However, Boxy does secure objective 5, so that's scoring him another point, and if the game ends at the end of my turn, he's going to get line breaker. But let's see what happens, because we need to get rid of these over here. Right, so Stephen is discarding Path of Redemption. He scores objective 5, and he's still got objective 6. Unfortunately, I still can't steal it from him. Got aerial assault. I drew noble self-sacrifice. Well, that's not happening. And big game hunter kill a vehicle. Right, so movement and assault. Basically, Dante and the sanguinary guard charge the dark shroud. We managed to get rid of the dark shroud and explode a single land speeder there. So it is going to score me big game hunter for destroying a single enemy vehicle, but I don't get aerial assault as I didn't destroy the entire unit. And that was literally it for the turn. So yeah. Right, so as I said, aerial assault, I don't score. Noble self-sacrifice, I don't score. But I do score 1 point for big game hunter. Altogether, that puts me at 15, and I'm not getting line breaker because I had to charge. So Boxy, does the game continue on a 4? It does, turn 7. Phil's happy. Right, so going into turn 7, Boxy still has objective 6. Apprehend and interrogate, he has to kill a character, or if he kills Dante, he gets D3. And let none escape your gaze, he needs to get a psychic power off. So what he's going to do is a bit of a plan. What we've got here is the librarian is detached from the Terminators, and he's making his way towards Dante. He's going to cast some psychic powers on Dante, so that he's easier to kill. Whilst the land speeders take out the priest and some more of the sanguinary guard in order to prevent Dante's feel no pain or the axes going through the librarian. Whilst those Terminators try and strip the last 2 hull points from that drop pod. Let's see how it ends. Right, so in the psychic phase, he managed to get Mind Worm off. I looked out Sir it onto one of the sanguinary guard and passed me feel no pain. Meanwhile, the multi-melters from these 2 land speeders, I looked out Sir and lost one of the guys. And the heavy bolt of fire, I lost the banner and one of the others. So we are down to only 3 men remaining. The librarian is going to be charging in. The rest of the shooting phase, the crack missile managed to do another hull point of damage onto the drop pod, and the assault cannon from the Terminator squad here managed to get a penetrating hit on the drop pod down there, rolling in a mobilized result. It's already immobilized, so it's down to 1 hull point. So who would have thought down here the fight for the beer is coming down to the bitter end on turn 7. Can't write these things. The librarian is going to be charging in. We do have a furnace pistol from Dante though.
It was a
11-inch charge. Wow. Let's see if Dante can slay him to the Overwatch, or indeed. Right, so down here the Terminators will charge back in again. The Power Fist managing to blow up the drop pod. The explosion killing the one with the Cyclone missile launcher, but it is going to score Boxy objective 6. Meanwhile, down here, the librarian has made it in, and Dante has issued a challenge. He's got no choice but to accept. Dante chucks 5 attacks, hitting on 3's mastercrafted. Oh! So that's 4 hits. Strength 6 boxy at AP2. Oh!
What was it, 3 wounds?
3 wounds.
5 ups needed.
3 5-ups. You want to roll them? He's on 1 wound. Oh, you only failed by 1! If you hadn't took that wound earlier to perils. Oh my.
I actually checked the perils things well and it was legit.
Wow. Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah.
Right,
So that brings the librarian crashing to the ground, unfortunately.
You can only pull independent characters.
Yeah. Right, so I've still got aerial assault, purity through bloodshed, kill something in the assault phase, and Valor of Angels, issue a challenge. The fight for the beer and spirits rages on. Dante and his lone sanguinary guard escort are going to be charging these guys, the land speeders, in combat, which will hopefully get me aerial assault and purity through bloodshed. The sanguinary priest has detached. He is on 1 wound, but he is going to be charging the Terminators over there. He'll issue a challenge and sacrifice himself for the point. Meanwhile, the lone assault marine has moved forward and ran, scarpering for Linebreaker. And with that, the Blood Angel's nerve has crumbled. The sanguinary priest, slain to Overwatch, he was on 1 wound, failed his armor save, and failed his feel no pain, so he's been cut down. Meanwhile, Dante and the lone sanguinary guard charged in. Dante took a wound to Overwatch due to the formation, and although he got 5 hits, he only got a single glance. The Power Axe guy managed to get a pen as well. So I didn't score a single point in that turn. So yeah, it looks as though the battle for the beer has come to an end. These Terminators are going to score Linebreaker, as is my Assault Marine. So let's add up the score. So wow guys, what an absolute blinder of a game. Back and forth the whole way. Blood Angel squeezing ahead and then not scoring points 2 turns out of 7. Dante, that Death Star proven quite useful indeed. Boxy, what do you think of the Dante Priest and Sanguinary Guard Death Star?
Very scary, very survivable, and Dante is unbelievable.
He's an absolute tank. What about Mephiston?
Mephiston was really, really good. Just
he definitely suffers from lack of inrun, doesn't he?
the lack of inrun was the main thing, because once your Terminators were gone, he just died.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree. I mean, the Librarian and the Champion absolutely
He needs to be in a unit.
I think this formation is rather dirty.
It is really nice.
2 up Jink and then, 5 up Overwatch, essentially support and fire from Tau.
Land speeds get a 3 up rerollable. The Dark Shroud itself gets 2 up rerollable.
Nasty, nasty stuff indeed. I think the big game changer for me was not losing the Land Raider first turn to their multi-melters.
Aye, that was a real blow.
Because the Land Raider itself just did so much damage in the middle of the table. I think over this side, had I moved Dante up on turn 1 and just accepted I was going to lose casualties and go strictly command squad, I think that would have made a massive difference. I mean, the command squad obliterated the tactical marines.
We did.
Yeah.
And you getting those many objective 1 cards was painful.
Oh god, yeah, I'd drawn 2 in 1 turn and stealing yours. That essentially is what won, because we've just added up the score.
And me rolling a 1 for my D3 objective when you got a 6.
Yeah, we've just added up the score. It is 16-14 to Blood Angels.
Very close.
So, I mean, me getting...
One dice roll could have swung it.
Well, either way, because we both had a D3 and I scored 3, you scored 2, 1.
Yeah.
So, either way...
If I'd scored a 3, it would have been a victory.
Back and forth, I mean, I've hardly got anything left. I mean, what have I got? Them? And some drop pods?
You've got those 2, and that drop pod's on 1 whole point, those 2 are...
And those 2.
There.
And that's it.
I have that squad of Terminators, these 2 Terminators here,
and a single land speeder.
And a single land speeder.
Yeah, I think the Dreadnought not turn 4.
That was a blow.
awful. And then not doing anything at all to your Terminators down here. I mean, I wouldn't normally throw them at Terminators, but I needed their objective. And then you just being able to walk behind them and blow them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, big game-changing stuff on a number of occasions there. So, very big thank you, Stephen, for coming down to Games of War and playing Dark Angels versus Blood Angels. I think everybody deserves a bottle of beer tonight.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, if you live in the same area, please check out Games of War. They sell a whole host of board games, miniature games, and models as well at a discount. I'll post a link to their page in the description. Stephen, thank you very much. It's been a very enjoyable game indeed.
You too. See you later.
Thanks very much for watching, guys.